hello everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today and for supporting VIMS and attending our very first virtual Marine Science Day, supported by Dominion Energy. We are really excited because we have folks tuned in from all over the world with us today. My name is Kaitlyn Clark. I'm a graduate student at VIMS, and I will be your host for this session. We are really excited to have Associate Professor Dr. BK Song with us today to discuss his career path and his role at VIMS. So welcome, Dr. Song. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you, Kaitlyn. That's a kind introduction. My name is BK Song. I'm Associate Professor at VIMS. I am a marine microbiologist. I'm studying the bacteria and other microbes in water and sediment, particularly interested in the carbon and nitrogen cycle, how they're affecting to the nitrogen removal or nutrient removal. And also I study the microbes in oyster, try to help how oyster grow better. And another part of research is studying the microplastic, how we can dealing with the microplastic to the environment. So I open the question for anyone.
Awesome. So how did you get interested in marine science? Was it kind of starting with microbiology and then moving your study field, or loving the ocean but then finding microbes? What kind of came first for you?
A very good question. So my PhD was focusing on environmental microbiology. I was studying the bioremediation of organic contaminant in the environment. And then when I do the postdoctoral research, I'm interested in working with phytoplankton, and especially the nitrogen cycle. And from there, how the phytoplankton is involving primary production, supporting the fish, etc. I get more interested in marine science. I moved to the marine from the general environmental microbiology.
Awesome, great to know. So someone asked, how hard is it to get a job as a professor in marine science?
Well, that depends. So depending on what you're working on stuff. So if you study the interesting topic, the emerging topic associated with it, and you have some nice papers published that together, that will give you the much better opportunity to have a job. But the one thing I want to say is consistent, you feel, and there's a lot of discouragement of course happening, but you just stay on and continuous working. Even still, I'm sometimes disappointed not getting funding, but I'm still interested in my own research, continue working on it. So never give up, continue working.
Great advice for everyone at any stage in their career. It's always good to hear that as a grad student too. And maybe you could talk a little bit just about how you got to where you are now, maybe where you went to university and some of the decisions that led you to your current role.
I was born and raised in South Korea. So I did my undergraduate study in South Korea, where I interested in agricultural side of it. So I do the agricultural biology as my major in bachelor degree. And then I get interest after graduating college. I was interested in environmental aspect of how the contaminants and how remediating those. So I choose to come to US for the graduate study. So I did my graduate study in Rutgers University, where it has a lot of good environmental microbiologists. So I did my study there, and then working in the Princeton University as another postdoctoral research component, and that's how I started coming in marine microbiology from there. And then moving to a job at University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and being a faculty member for 7 years, another marine microbiology job, and then get a job here, move here, and then work in Chesapeake Bay right now.
Awesome. Sounds like a slightly windy, but you figured out exactly where.
Yeah, but I'm still, because of my background in South Korea, I still have a collaboration with South Korea and also other countries as well in Europe.
Awesome. That's great. Someone asked along with that, what do you do on a daily basis? What does your day-to-day look like?
Well, that's an interesting question. So before all the coronavirus hit us, and I come to work in my office, working with my students, directly interacting with them, and then mentor them, and then discussing about their research project and writing proposals and papers. And now since March, everything changed, stay home working. And today's special day, I just come to my office for this event. And mostly I'm staying home writing, a lot of writing going on. And also a lot of virtual meeting with students and faculties and some of my colleagues, and just discuss, and so hope these things are over soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Someone asked, what advice could you give an educator with students who are interested in marine science?
Oh, so that's a interesting way to think about. So as an educator, I teach some classes of the aquatic microecology and general microbiology as well. And so students who have an interest in marine science, they think about what direction to looking into it. There's a lot of aspects to think about it. If you think about it, marine science, you can think about working with dolphins and some sharks and big animals. That could be just a visual right away, or harmful algal blooms like algae growing in the water, which is very toxic. You have concern about water quality. Or like me, just microbacteria you barely can see with the naked eye. You have to think about what direction you want to do it. And nowadays, a lot of interest going on microplastic side of it. So a lot of people ask me about the microplastic
Oh,
study.
I think I think you broke up for a second there. Are you back?
Okay.
Oh, there you are. Great.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
So
you're back.
another area I've been people asking me about the microplastic in marine science research. So that is another hot topic nowadays, how we see the pollutants coming from our own generated synthetic pollutants affecting the environment. So it coming to different types of interests of students, whether they're interested in working with whale or dolphin or shark or fish, or working with algae and or the very different area to think about. It's a biology, and also there's also chemistry, also there's a physics as well. So there's very different directions to think about it, depending on your interest.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a really fun question. Someone asked, how old were you when you knew that you wanted to go into this career?
Wow. Well, that's the exact same question my kid asked me. My first one is a junior in college. So that's a good question to think about in your career, where you're going heading to it. So when I was in college, I was interested in more agricultural side of it. And then after I graduated, I realized environmental issue is more concerning South Korea. So that's why I'm more choosing that direction. And eventually end up to marine science is pure my science, the research interest coming up. As I learn more and more, the marine science become most interesting aspect of coming up to it. So it came up quite late. It was ending up to the being marine scientist was after I got PhD. So it's quite late in the decision I made it through it. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And we have a couple questions that are around, is it possible to volunteer to work in a lab? And are there other volunteer opportunities that would help someone kind of get started in a career in marine science? Something maybe especially in like the high school age.
Sorry. VIMS has a lot of, the opportunity for volunteer. So, and I used to have high school student and college student come to my lab and do the work. And some high school students come to do science project for that. And so we, open for all the volunteer coming in. Of course, but in the other hand, we also asking for volunteer to have commitment. So it's not just come to lab working, it's just a playground. It's the serious workplaces. So you have to, have mentally prepare. It's gonna be hard work. You may stay quite late and do the work, and you have to persistent and also process thinking also follow up to it. So it is, we are open for any volunteer to participate in many different research areas, not just my lab, also other area. And even some college students, we are also welcoming them as well. So if you're interested in, let me know.
And along with that, are there any other kind of tips or advice that you would give someone that's interested in getting involved in marine science and maybe moving towards a career in marine science eventually?
I think the volunteer is a good opportunity actually to think about it. So you need to know what kind of the researches in marine science is. Not just you see what you see in the media, and so it's a best opportunity will be contact whoever where you are living now, and finding any marine science institute or school, and contact any scientists there and see if there's any opportunities present. I mean, right now we are very in the typical situation we don't have any like a real in-person working in the lab. But on the other hand, hopefully we can generate more virtual types of the opportunity for the more people who can participate. I think this Marine Science Day event is one of the great prototype, actually, the first initiation doing it. I'm very excited about this, right?
Yeah, it seems like we're also reaching a wider audience than maybe you would get to come to VIMS. So
Yeah,
exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What if you, this is a little bit, oh, actually, here, sorry, a new one just popped up right as I was about to say that. How has your research been affected by the pandemic? How is that changing how you're working?
Well, that's we all scientists hoping to have some provide a benefit to our community, and that's one of the we always looking into it. So one example I've been studying the microbes in oyster, and the reason we are looking at the microbes in oyster, how we can actually protect the oyster and be healthy, and then not get infected by virus or any pathogen. So we try to promoting the better survival of the oyster, and that will help the bay and rivers to cleaning up the excess nutrients as well. So that's one directional connection I have. And another aspect I'm studying in the General Water Quality Association with the harmful algal bloom, and see how we can do the nutrient reduction within the water and within the river system. And that could promoting to reduce the levels of the HAP or other toxic productions from natural toxic production.
So water health is and health, community health is stuff that you're thinking about all the time, regardless of the, doesn't have to be when the world's in a pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. So we just try to connecting to, we are doing a lot of great science, but also we need to have connection to the real world. We can just, it's a lot of fun to do science in general, but in the other hand, we definitely need to provide the benefit and help to the society they can use for what we've been studying.
I guess along with that, what's your favorite part of your job? What makes you excited to keep doing it and keep coming to work every day?
So that's the reason I choose my career in academia, because I like to do what I can do. So I can come up, so a lot of creativity is required to be the independent researcher. And you have to think about what your area and you study, and you continuously reading and all the coming up. And also you integrating those ideas together to make new things coming out of it. So one of the big excitement is something new, the new idea developed, and then actually apply the grant and getting some funding and continuous working on it. And then coming up to another advancement of the understanding of the system. So there's a lot of unknown when we expose to it. As we explore more and more, we understand what's there, and this gives us a much better idea how we can actually have better living in the nature.
Absolutely. And along with that, someone asked, what has been the coolest thing that you've discovered in your research?
Oh, that's a lot of stuff I didn't discover a lot. So one of the things is I'm famous about the bacteria can do the nitrogen removal in the groundwater and sediment. So that's called anaerobic ammonium oxidizer, NMOX, which was found in marine system or the soil. And now they're generating a whole bioreactor with this type of bacteria to reducing nutrient from wastewater treatment plant. And recently we had a very nice publication in Nature Communication about how microplastic can changing the microbial community and also change the nutrient cycle, which we are very exciting about new finding as well. Also oyster studies. So there's many things I'm proud of my students' work. So it's not my own work, it's all my student, the postdoc, they've been working so hard to make these things happen. So I'm always thanks for them.
It's awesome. It's wonderful to hear. And it looks like that actually brings us perfectly right to the end of our time today. So Dr. Song, thank you so much for being here and for helping us learn more about your career path and about your role at VIMS. It's been amazing to have you answering questions with us today. For all of our attendees here around the world, thank you so much for tuning in. If you navigate back to the agenda page, you can access all of our other virtual sessions and interviews, as well as there's an extensive collection of resources available on the home screen. Thanks again to Dominion Energy for supporting this session, and just once again for the attendees, we can't wait to have you on campus, but we're so excited to have you here virtually in the meantime, and we hope everyone has a really great day.
Thank you. Thank you for participating. Thank you for moderating, Kaitlyn. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.